Hey guys, it's Coma. Just bringing you my first video, and actually, I'm gonna try to fit this all into one video, just so it's convenient for everyone. I originally split it up into four, but then decided to just put it in one video. I'm not gonna add as much detail and comment on a lot of things like I did in my other videos. This is straight to the grind. In this video, I will be discussing the best race class combinations. Yes, best race class combinations. Specific classes go best with specific races for PvE and PvP. So I'm going to go over those for both Alliance and Horde side, and I'll actually dig into some specs because I know sometimes if you choose a different spec, then the best race changes as far as classes go. So, if you can get a pen and paper or whatever you need, notepad, wordpad, any of that down, that'd be awesome. And I'll also include this in the description below. Um, but this is just for those who want to listen to my beautiful voice. Um, I'm going to go in order from DK to Druid to Hunter, Mage, Paladin, Priest, Rogue, Shaman, Warlock, and then Warrior. And I'm going to start with PvE Alliance and then go to PvP Horde. And then I'm going to go to PvP Alliance and then PvP Horde. So first, PvE Alliance, PvE Horde, PvP Alliance, PvP Horde in that order. And I'll let you know when I'm changing up so you guys don't get too confused. And I'll be going over each spec. So I'm just going to roughly say what's in first place and what's in second place as far as, people who are good at the game. So, for instance, for PvE, I'm only going to be talking about the players with 8 out of 8 or more bosses killed in heroic mode. I'm not going to talk about the globals. I'm going to strictly talk about that for the players that have all the heroics done. Okay, so starting with the Alliance side, Death Knight. Um, let's see here. If I could pull up my sheet here. Okay, so Death Knight. Blood definitely belongs to human. Second place belongs to Night Elf. Definitely human though. Frost is a little. It has a little bit of leeway. Honestly, it's a close one between human and Worgen. Unholy. Again, it's a toss-up between human and Worgen. So it's really between those. But if you play Blood, you're gonna probably want to go human compared to a Night Elf. Going on to Druids, Night Elf would be the way to go for balance, although Worgen is pretty close. Night Elf, again, if you're rolling Feral, you want to be a Night Elf for the Druid. And then Restoration also belongs to Night Elf, definitely on that one. Hunters, we're going to start with Beast Mastery, and that belongs to the Worgen. Second place belongs to Night Elf. Definitely the Worgen on that one. Marksmanship belongs to either the Night Elf or the Worgen, but I know more people play a Survival, so Survival, honestly, it's the Worgen. The Night Elf's a close second, but the Worgen definitely takes the cake on that one. Mages, honestly, from looking at these earlier, I could say the human and the gnome are almost tied for arcane. You could choose other if you're going to be an arcane mage. I think the human trumps it just a little bit, but not by a lot. Fire would be human over the gnome, and frost would be also human. Definitely human over gnome if you want to go that way. Paladin, we're going to go holy, and that's going to be human. Same with protection and retribution. None of the other ones even come close to comparing to how much humans chosen as a paladin. Same applies to priests, kind of. The discipline priests definitely trump in the human area. Holy also, and shadow also. So humans are pretty much the best priests for PvE. Rogues, it's human again. Human for assassination, with second place coming in at Night Elf. Definitely better to be human though. Combat would be human, and sub would be a human again. Shamans, luckily you can't be a human shaman, so this one should be interesting. Draenei takes it for elemental, takes it for enhancement, definitely for enhancement, and definitely resto. So the dwarf is, for PvE wise anyway, not a really good choice to be as a shaman. Warlock, that's a toss up between human, worgen, and gnome. Affliction wise, you want to probably go with the human or the worgen. Human obviously trumps it. Demonology, either the human or the worgen again. They're not even close. Humans above, pretty much, and humans above worgen and gnome on destruction. And finally, for PvE Alliance is the warrior, and that seems to be a toss-up again between humans and worgen. Arms is really pretty close between human and worgen. Fury is actually 50-50, so it doesn't really matter if you wanted to go with a human or a worgen. And protection would be either human or night elf, and those are very close. So if you want to rock a warrior, you can either choose human, night elf, or worgen. If you're going to go fury, more likely I would say worgen, just because I don't really like how the humans look all that much. Okay, and for horde, we're going to go over to horde, and we're going to do the blood. And that would either be orc or blood elf. Orc is pretty close to blood elf, but obviously the orc kind of takes the cake on that one. Frost would be orc, definitely. And then the unholy, the last one, would be orc also. So I would say orc. For blood, a blood elf would kind of come up there, but not anything really compared to the orc. The druid is, luckily for balance, it would be the troll. For feral, it would be the Tauren. Woot woot, I don't like the troll. And for resto, it would be the Tauren again. So more than likely, if you're going to be a druid, unless you're going balance, it would be Tauren would be your best bet. Hunters, beast mastery, best would probably be either the orc or the troll. They're really close. For marksmanship, actually they're 50-50 exactly for marksmanship between the orc and the troll. And for survival, again, wow, that's awesome, the troll and the orc. So it's very, very close between being an orc excuse me, an orc and a troll as far as hunter. So I'd just say pick whatever you want, whatever one you think looks better on that one. Anyway, and I don't usually go by looks, but that's usually the best way to go. The mage is for arcane, for the horde PvE, would be either the troll or the blood elf. Undead's also up there. it's really between those three. They're all pretty close. The troll is at the top though. For fire, definitely the troll. And for frost, definitely undead. But for arcane, it would be really close between the troll, the blood elf, and the undead. Paladin, go holy. Holy would be blood elf, definitely. I actually don't know anyone that has ever played a Tauren holy paladin. So protection, definitely the blood elf, and definitely the blood elf as far as retribution goes. So if you're a Tauren and if you're paladin playing PvE, I mean, I wouldn't, just to make it simple. Going on to priests, blood elf makes the best holy, or I'm sorry, discipline priest. Undead comes in second. Holy would be blood elf again. And this kind of sucks because I made a horde character or a toon, and I wanted it to be shadow, and I thought that blood elf would be the best choice. But actually, goblin makes his way up to the top as far as priest for shadow priests. Goblin takes it, but it's very close between the goblin, the blood elf, and the troll. And undead's kind of close too, but not that much. As far as PvE Horde Rogue, if you want to go assassination, it's going to be undead. And then goblin's very close to that. Combat is really, honestly, very close between the undead and the goblin again. And then finally, for sub, it would be undead. And then the rest of them kind of blows out of the water. Shamans, if you go elemental, it would be the goblin by far. Enhancement would actually it would be the orc, and for resto, it would be goblin again. So shamans kind of make the best goblins, or goblins make the best shamans. Other way around. For warlocks, it's gonna be the orc, with undead coming in second. For affliction, it would be that way. For demonology, it would be that way. And for destruction, kind of undead or orc for destruction, really. They're pretty close. So, okay, guys, I'm going to be switching to PvP now. So keep that in mind. I did PvE Alliance, then PvE Horde, and now I'm going to be doing PvP. They sound similar. EP. Let me restate that. First, I did PvE Alliance. Second was PvE Horde, and now I'm going to do PvP Alliance, and then last PvP Horde. Okay. As far as the Alliance goes for PvP, we'll start with the Death Knight again. I'm going to shoot through these really quickly just because they're so easy. For Blood DK, Human, nothing really compares to that. Also, Frost and Unholy. 93% of the people who score above 2200 play as a human. So human pretty much takes up all of DK. As far as druids go for PvP on Alliance, you got Night Elf. Night Elves make the best as far as balance. With Feral, they make the best, and for Resto, they definitely make the best. They blow Worgens out of the water there. For Hunters, Beast Mastery Hunters, for PvP Alliance, it would be Humans and Worgen in second. Worgen's kind of far away in second. Humans again for marksmanship, and then for survival, and definitely humans. So human for that. Night Elf doesn't even come close, and that's a second. Mages, Going arcane would be human, definitely by far. Human again for fire, and then for frost, it would also be. Okay, so I would safely say that for all three specs on mages, it would all be human. Likewise, would be paladin. You got holy, which is definitely human. Protection, which is human, and then retribution, which is human. It's so funny to see how many people actually play PvE or PvP dwarfs, because it's not even not even close to being 1% of anything. Priests would be human, second night elf for discipline priests. It's kind of close, kind of not. Humans are at higher than night elves, but night elves take second. Holy, you can either be human or gnome. It's a little bit closer, but really human takes the cake by far. Shadow, definitely human, so there's no compute there. For rogue, assassination would be human and then dwarf. Human definitely. Combat would be human by far again, and then sub would be also human. For shamans, going elemental, it would be Draenei. Enhancement ones would also be Draenei, but this is different. The resto would actually be dwarf, but Draenei is really close, so you could choose whatever you want. If you wanted an excuse to be a dwarf for PvP, here you go. Be a resto shaman. Warlocks are almost all human. Affliction belongs to human, as does demonology and destruction. And finally, for warrior, those are all human also. Arms belong to them, fury belongs to them, and protection belongs to them, with the gnome coming in second. About 80% play human, and about 17 play gnome, just to give you a rough idea. And finally, for PvP, it's going to be Horde. And let's see, we'll start with Death Knights again. It's going to be for Blood. It's really close actually between the Orc and the Blood Elf. So I know Orc takes it, but Blood Elf's a close second. For Frost, surprisingly, the Orc, and then the Blood Elf in second again. And then for actually Unholy, it's definitely the Orc over the Blood Elf. And then the rest are kind of just in the blue. Druids, balanced Druids, Tauren definitely, Feral, Tauren, and Resto, Tauren. So it kind of differs from PvE. A lot of people choose Taurens as their druids, so that's always a good thing. Hunters, if you're going Beast Mastery, it's going to be Orc, no challenges, even come close. Marksmanship would be the Orc, again, no challenge. And for PvE Hunters, Survival, it is honestly dead even, 50-50 exactly, between the Troll and the Orc. More people play as an Orc, but they're exactly the same as far as skill wise and the skilled players that play as them. So really, Orc or Troll, whatever your fancy is. So going on to mages, arcane mages for PvP Horde would be either Troll or Undead. Very, very close. Almost like it's like 51-49. Trolls are a little tiny bit higher. For fire, Undead, definitely. Troll comes in second, but nowhere near close to an undead fire mage for PvP. Frost belongs to undead. I'm not even going to say second place just because it's so far away. Paladins, Blood Elf, throughout Holy is Blood Elf, throughout Protection is Blood Elf, and throughout Ret is also Blood Elf. So don't choose a Tauren again as a Paladin. Ever. Priest. Undead. You want to be an undead priest for PvP. Discipline is definitely an undead. And then Blood Elves in second, but nowhere near close. Holy, it's a little closer between Undead and Blood Elf, but Undead still takes it by a little bit. And Shadow, Undead or Blood Elf, definitely Undead. Blood Elf's in second, kind of tied with the Goblin, but Undead definitely takes it there. Rogues, Assassination Rogues would be Undead. And second place, Goblin, but not even close. Combat, Undead, and sub would be Undead again. So it looks like Undead kind of trumps out that area. Shamans, Elemental Shamans would be Orcs. Enhancement, Orcs. Do not choose a Tauren there. And Restoration, Orcs. Warlocks, Affliction Warlocks belong to the Undead, definitely. Demonology, also Undead, definitely. And Destruction, Undead, definitely. So you want to be an Undead Warlock. That would be awesome for PvP. And then Warrior to finish up this whole thing. For PvP Horde, you have Arms, which is going to be the Orc by far. You got Fury, which is also going to be the Orc by far. And then you got Protection, which is going to be the Orc by far. Just for shits and giggles, Undead, and then Tauren, and then Blood Elf, and then Goblin. But Orc definitely takes the top by far. And just something to keep in mind about this is I'm not aiming for... this isn't me telling you that you can't play something or you can't... it's just... There wasn't a lot of information online. But after researching, finding the right logs and war graphs and stuff like that, I've come to this conclusion. This is what I am looking up online, and this is just because there's such a lack of, and there's so many questions. I've seen forums all over the place that give totally different answers, like, be a gnome warrior in PvE and you'll definitely succeed, and stuff like that. And it was confusing to begin with, and I just thought that I would kind of explain to people who are newer at the game, or people who have other characters and they want to create new ones, and they want to know which ones they can max out at, and who's playing what, and what are all the good leaderboard people that are have beaten all 8 bosses. What do they play? What is their opinion? And it seems to me that I would rather get advice from someone who has played through all of the bosses on heroic, rather than someone who might be doing that just has their personal opinion. And some people like to, if you're going to stand up for your character, that's completely fine. If you like playing in a style, choose, because in the end it really doesn't matter, but it does at the same time. It's one of those trade-offs. So it really doesn't matter, but at the same time it does. It's kind of like a touche, but it really is. There's no other way to really describe it. So hope this video helped you guys, and I'll be making more soon. Thanks. Bye.